Now, I want to illustrate the word grace for a minute. You know, there are a lot of words that we as Christians use that are Bible words. We get used to these words, and we hear them and we can define them, but many times they become an intellectual fact, and we forget on a heart level what these words mean. And I want to tell a story. In fact, it's from the story of the Good Samaritan. I'm sure you're familiar with this. In the story that Jesus told, there was an apparently Jewish man who was traveling through a deserted area when some thieves assaulted him, beat him up, robbed him, and left him to die on the side of the road. As this man lay there dying, 2 different times a religious leader of the Jewish religion passed by and ignored him as he lay there on the side of the road. Sometime later, a man from Samaria, a Samaritan, came walking by. Now, to understand the context of this story, the man who was beat up, assuming he was a Jewish man in this parable, would have normally looked down on that Samaritan man. He would have ignored that Samaritan man in his normal day-to-day life because the Jews and the Samaritans did not have anything to do with each other. Regardless of this attitude that the man would have had, the Samaritan man rescues the injured man. He cleans up his wounds. He puts the man on his donkey and takes him to the nearest inn. He pays for the man's stay and even leaves extra money just in case. The Samaritan man saved that man's life. He rescued him. He delivered him. This is a picture of God's grace for us. The man on the ground did not necessarily deserve help, but the Samaritan showed kindness out of his heart. We're that man, spiritually speaking. In our case, we did deserve our condition. We are guilty for the consequences of our sins, but God showed us grace, unearned kindness. And because of His grace, God made the gospel available to us.